So thanks so much for joining us. Joining us now is Dr. Thelma Tennie. She is a licensed family therapist and founder of the Healing Arts Institute. And we're so glad to have you. Can you tell us more about how does the Healing Arts Institute work?
Well, thank you for having me this morning. Healing Arts Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And what we do is provide low cost or no cost mental health services to South Florida. And what we specialize in currently, what we're seeing is lots of anxiety, lots of depression, lots of suicidal thoughts, and again, lots of a record-breaking amount of children who are coming to us because they are stuck in the home. They are just dealing with so much right now.
Yeah, that is, I can understand completely. I have two kids of my own, and I watched their emotions change from one season to the next in this pandemic. And how as parents, sometimes we're watching and we're doing, the best with, these CDC guidelines. How are we supposed to respond?
Well, now the schools have opened back up. Hopefully things will get a little bit better as far as the children being able to be social and socializing with their peers. I think that one thing that we can do is continue to do as much outdoor activity as we can with our children. And if we see something that's different in behavior, when you're trying to get them back out there, right? Some of them are just in this depressive state where they don't want to go back out and they don't realize that this depression has set in. So be open to seeing a mental health professional, someone like myself. And the great thing is that there are services out there and you just have to know where to look. So one of the greatest resources I know you know about, Jacqueline, is 211, right? So I would urge every parent to get on the phone and call 211 and say, look, I'm looking for some place for my child, and they will direct you to the right nonprofit organization, which are vetted and which are accredited, and they know are doing positive and right evidence-based work out in the community. One of the biggest things with Healing Arts is that we just received funds from Broward County for mental health services for children ages 3 to 22. And this is to bridge the gap between those who don't have insurance. So anyone out there who has no insurance at all, who doesn't even know how to get on Medicaid or how to get services for their child to get insurance, or there are a lot of parents out there who have Medicaid or Florida Kid Care applications pending. So while those applications are pending, they will be able to come in and see us, and they qualify for this funding, and we'd be able to see them at no cost at all.
Now, Dr. Tennie, we're talking about children, but you really work with the entire family. I know you are a certified clinical sexologist. You deal with the emotions and trauma of things that go on in the home and everywhere else. So can you talk a little bit more about what that certification means and what kind of treatments you offer because of it?
Yes. So as you know, sexual trauma is one of those things that people really don't like to admit or talk about. And one of them is, again, if you're the perpetrator, right, it's hard to seek out help to change these behaviors. And then as a victim, there's a lot of guilt and regret, right? I shouldn't have gone there. Maybe I shouldn't have wore this. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So there's a lot that comes around with sexual assault, just sexual identity, right? Trying to figure out, who am I? We've seen an increase in sexual satisfaction, right? Couples calling and just not knowing where to go and their sex life not being what it used to be. So this is where my PhD in clinical sexology comes in. And I realized after my first PhD in marriage and family therapy, I wasn't really properly trained to deal with all of the sexual components that go on in an individual's life. And that's what made me seek out to get the PhD in clinical sexology, and also to see that there's such a great need here and very few clinical sexologists, especially clinical sexologists that look like us. So my goal was to create an institution to provide a PhD in clinical sexology. And that's where Healing Arts started its PhD program. So we offer an affordable PhD to already licensed, in any mental health field, any licensed therapist is able to attend our PhD program to get the training to work with the populations as well.
Wow, that sounds that's amazing. I think I just saw something about that, on social media, and I was like, wow, look at Dr. Tennie go. I was excited for you because I know that is, I'm sure, on your heart, a great work and that you can offer. And I personally just think from the standpoint of a therapist, I fully recommend you just because of the way you are. You're just simply an easy person to speak with. I feel that I can trust you at any point with anyone in my family. And I have actually shared that with others. So I just put my little plug out there for you. But I also know that the sheriff's office, uses you as a resource. Neighbors for Neighbors uses you as a resource. And those are very accredited organizations. But just from a personal standpoint, you've got my vote.
Thank you.
Now tell me, we also heard, about your son, Carter. Part of the reason why you started Healing Arts Institute was because because he was diagnosed with Asperger's. And then his therapy now has led him to a point where he has his own line of golf apparel. Can you give me an idea? I know it's hard to share about Carter. He's like a whole new story, but he's so amazing. He's so impressive to me. But can you give me, I know he's your son, you're his mom. So, I need the condensed version of Carter, but tell us about him and how we can participate in his golf tournaments and things like that.
So yes, Carter is 10 years old now. He was diagnosed with Asperger's a little before his first birthday, and that was difficult. It was difficult to navigate life and go to all of his therapies and have to miss work and not have an employer, really be flexible, and not knowing where being directed to places to go, but still not feeling welcome at those places where I was led me to say, okay, I need to provide something for other families out there whose children are suffering from not only Asperger's or autism, but ADHD, right? Any type of cognitive deficit that they just need support, because it's not just the child that needs support, the family needs support as well. The parents struggling with what could I have done different, right? For myself, what did I do wrong during my pregnancy to cause this? So working through that, helping other families work through that. And Carter knows he has autism. He struggled in school, and he was just, he became very depressed from being bullied. And he shares his story now that at one time at school, things were so bad, he even told the teacher, right, if one more thing goes wrong, I'm going to kill myself.
Wow.
Right. So if you can imagine how hard it was for me to receive that call that your son just said this in school and we need you to come here now. Luckily, because they did know me and I was active in the school and they know what I do, they called me to come get him versus having him Baker acted. And we were able to call a psychiatrist. At that time, he didn't have one to just get him stabilized. And now he's doing much better. So he has mommy, who's not his therapist, and he has his own therapist, and he has a psychiatrist that he works with. And things have just turned around so much now that he has that support system where he can tell them all the things about me, right? Because
Right.
I don't do everything perfectly. So he has that outlet, and he had severe anxiety about what am I going to do when I grow up, right? Who's going to hire me? Who's going to, right? And he said, I want to be self-employed like you, mommy. I want to, and what can I do? So he went through a long list, Jacqueline, of selling rocks, right? First, he wanted to sell rocks. Then he wanted to sell lemonade. Then he wanted to sell the vegetables out of his garden.
Oh
And then
my goodness.
he realized how much he would have to sell of those things to sustain himself, right? A mortgage, a this or that. So, and then he
And
said,
he's 10.
yeah, he was 10. So then he said, well, mommy, you spend all this money on clothes. How about I make my own clothes? So that's how Carter Spectrum Golf came along with his own clothing line. Now, I mean, he used to be in Under Armour every week, right? Getting some new golf gear, but now he has his own golf gear and he's very excited to be able to share his golf gear. When we go to tournaments now, he sees other kids and adults wearing his golf gear.
Wow. Oh, that's got to be
Yeah.
so nice for his confidence. And I will tell you, there, he does participate in golf tournaments. He is a part of golf tournaments. And so you can go to the Healing Arts website at www.healingartssfl.org.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, what is the website for Spectrum, just so people can go to that website if they were interested in his line of clothes and whatnot.
That's cartersspectrumgolf.com.
cartersspectrumgolf.com.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Tennie, I just want to thank you so much for sharing this information with us. I look forward, to hearing more about, what the two of you are doing. I want to hear more about that PhD program and your graduates. Those are stories to come. And I just thank you for sharing, giving us some hope, giving us some ideas, and just letting us know that we're not on our own in this anxiety fight, because it is. So many people are in the same position, and it's hard to lean on people because we're all going through it. And so I really do appreciate this particular subject and your time. You have a great day.
Thank you.